Who will demonstrate quick wit faster? The finely tuned and graceful cats or the reliably loyal dogs? Can this whiskered companion be trained in some truly sophisticated techniques? And what virtuoso tricks will it be able to master? Do cats possess the ability to genuinely love their owners? And why are these cunning tail-bearing mischief makers so stubbornly marking their own territory? Together, we will seek explanations for all these questions. Let's turn to the experience of the ancient Egyptians. Their perception of cats was something quite intriguing. In those lands, scattered with scorching sand, these animals were endowed with a sacred aura. Their images were immortalized on exquisitely detailed frescoes, elevated to the status of deities, and sometimes even mummified. It is truly astonishing how people managed to tame such a strong-willed and independent creature, to subdue its fierce and savage nature. After all, the ancestors of today's domestic pets were ruthless hunters, rivaling the bloodlust of the most ferocious predators. Doka is a representative of the wild cat genus, remarkably resembling the familiar Barsik and Murak in appearance, yet significantly larger in size. A forest cat like Doka can reach a body length of about 80 centimeters and weigh around 8 kilograms. However, its character does not resemble the soft and fluffy tenderness of domestic purrs hunting for small prey. A forest predator can incapacitate its victim with a single strong paw swipe, and if it encounters a larger target such as a roe deer, it skillfully leaps onto its back and bites down with its fangs into the neck, attempting to tear the artery. This beast is so fierce and aggressive that if its territory is violated, it might even attack a human. Nevertheless, it cannot be said that wild members of the cat family are entirely detached from social life. Among themselves, in small groups of siblings, they establish certain contacts. However, their relationships with humans seem unnatural, as a human is essentially an opponent to a wildcat, someone to be feared. However, about 7 or 8 years ago, wildcats curiously noticed that near human food supplies intended for people, there is invariably a large number of rodents. Striving to protect their resources from a mouse invasion, humans began to feed the whiskered hunters. Thus, the foundation of a new friendship was subtly formed, which persists to this day. The cat turned out to be a very useful creature for humans, although it remained at some distance for a long time. The transformation of the cat from a free predator following its primal instinct into an exquisite domestic being with pedigreed roots is a relatively recent phenomenon, taking from several centuries to millennia. If we are amazed by its regal arrogance and bold courage, it is worth understanding that these traits rooted in its wild past were historically formed. Any experienced cat owner describing their pet in a few words will inevitably note the presence of some mischief, excessive demands, possible aggression, and a touch of boldness. But each individual pet manifests these traits in its own unique style. When cats settled en masse in human homes, the situation changed dramatically. At the end of the 19th century, scientists seriously turned their attention to studying cats, but it was quickly discovered that tracking their behavior in a laboratory environment is difficult. The main reason is the animal's great resilience to stress factors. For a fluffy pet, stress is not a simple short-term inconvenience, but a state that changes not only habits but also affects health. Severe stress can even lead a cat to death. In an unfamiliar place, a cat stops displaying its characteristic manners, feeling a lack of confidence in its own abilities. For this reason, natural conditions are the optimal environment for studying its nature. This is why today scientific specialists increasingly obtain data on the behavior of purring creatures through detailed surveys of owners. Although this method may seem simple, it has shown impressive effectiveness, allowing researchers to identify 4 key traits of the cat's temperament. The first trait is pronounced independence. The second is friendliness and affection. The third is aggressiveness, and the fourth is mobility, the desire to move around. Combinations of these 4 properties are countless, and each specific cat is a unique blend. These traits are characteristic without exception for the entire cat family spread across the planet. Scientists have discovered an interesting correlation. Breed characteristics influence the degree of expression of individual qualities. There are about 100 cat breeds in the world, and genetics play a significant role in their temperament. If you desire a pet with a sensitive and kind character, The British or Scottish breed is more likely to meet these expectations than the Abyssinian, which has been developing its independent and stubborn nature for centuries. The Russian blue cat is known for its certain timidity, while the Bengal is famous for its uncontainable activity. The most serene enthusiasts appreciate Persians and exotic breeds, whereas the Turkish van is often prone to aggression towards both people and fellow cats. However, unfortunately, breed traits do not provide absolute guarantees. Sometimes even a typically friendly Scottish cat can grow into a real fury, noisy, scratching, and hating everyone around. This proves that each cat has its own unique individuality. Therefore, when choosing a kitten, it is wise to consult a professional breeder who has long and attentively observed each kitten from birth. There is a common belief that the color of the fur influences behavior. For example, a white cat is supposedly shy and affectionate, a black one good-natured but slightly jealous, a ginger cat smart and cunning, and a striped one an adventure hunter and a fantasizer. Unfortunately, this neat theory is not supported by scientific data. Coat color only indicates the amount of melanin pigment in the fur and does not determine character. To recognize the true nature, it is enough to play with the pet. Roll a ball or lead a toy mouse on a string. Such activities reveal the animal's natural playfulness and activity. Without such exercises, a cat will start to get bored. And if you devote at least half an hour daily to games, your purring friend will be in a cheerful mood. But how to find the right approach to games? Let's try to understand in more detail. If you were ever foretold a lonely old age in the company of a single cat, you can relax. You are definitely not at risk of boredom. There are many exciting ways to occupy long winter evenings, and some games can be conditionally called Olympic sports. One cat hones its ping-pong skills, while another displays itself as a magnificent goalkeeper, worthy of comparison with Gianluigi Buffon himself. However, it is important to remember, for a cat, play is not an empty pastime, but a ritual in which its ancient instincts are reflected. It is known that country cats, after catching a mouse, play with it for a long time as if prolonging the pleasure. This is a way of fulfilling hunting needs that have been preserved even in urban apartment purrs. If you do not provide a whiskered creature with a toy resembling live prey, be sure, the object of its hunt will become your legs or hands. Zoo psychologists recommend owners to ask themselves, how much time do I devote to playing with my cat? What toys does it have? Because if a cat has mice, balls, feathers, and other prey imitations in its arsenal, it will not hunt humans. The most effective tactic to engage your pet is to imitate the movements of a potential prey. For this, it is not necessary to have a toy mouse. You can take any small object and move it unpredictably. A laser pointer is not the best option, because a cat cannot grab the light spot. This causes irritation and stress. If you decide to use a laser, make sure to catch the mysterious target at the end of the hunt. Stomp your foot where the red spot was, as if you killed it. This will increase your authority in the pet's eyes. After all, what it couldn't do, you managed. Keep in mind that one single toy is not enough. A curious cat needs to be offered a variety of game options. Alternate objects, change the style of amusements so that the whiskered friend does not lose interest. However, turning your own hands into prey is a doubtful idea. Zoo psychologists warn, if a cat perceives your hands as targets for hunting, it will not respect them for affection and care. Hands are meant for cuddling and nurturing, not for battles. Aggressiveness is an integral facet of any predator's personality, but in adequate domestic cats, it is usually under control. Although there are cases where individual cats are so fierce that they can scare even a large man into retreating. Usually, they do not attack without reason. Aggression is often a response to fear or pain. A cat can be scared by anything: the sudden noise of a coffee grinder, the loud roar of a vacuum cleaner, or the squealing sound of a mixer. When a cat is groomed, even the calmest pet can transform into a furious fury, fiercely resisting the veterinarian. In such a situation, it is best to leave the cat alone. Give it time to calm down. You can then slightly dim the lights, leave the room, place a bowl of food nearby the cat. An additional sense of security will be provided by a box or another container where the animal can hide to regain confidence. If aggression is a defensive reaction of a cat protecting its offspring, the situation is even more complicated. Maternal rage is impressive. Problems also arise with the litter box. Some sterilized cats suddenly refuse to use it. Stress or unpleasant changes cause the animal to mark a new place with urine, trying to restore a sense of stability. Any sudden change, whether it's new people coming into the house, a dog appearing, or the disappearance of a familiar noise, can cause discomfort for a cat. Pain also affects behavior. For example, with urinary stones, the cat may associate pain with the litter box, deciding that it is guilty, and starts looking for an alternative. The causes of behavioral problems can be extremely unexpected. These creatures have an amazing trait. For them, the stability of the surrounding environment is more important than its quality. They sometimes find it easier to tolerate a stable negative than a sudden improvement that disrupts the usual balance. Imagine if your neighbor drilled the walls all year and the cat got used to this noise. Suddenly, the neighbor stops drilling, and miraculously, the cat is stressed again because the irritant it had adapted to has disappeared. It is worth considering. If a cat's behavior seems strange, perhaps we should take a closer look at ourselves. English scientists conducted an interesting study and concluded that the owner's manner significantly affects the cat, much like the character of parents is reflected in their children. Essentially, we are shaping the behavioral portrait of our pet by imposing our own traits on it. Specialists from the universities of Lincoln and Nottingham surveyed 3,000 owners and compared people's personality traits with their pets' behaviors. It turned out that if a person is anxious, aggressive, or nervous, the cat reacts accordingly, and when the owner is balanced and calm, the pet becomes softer and more friendly. Thus, we inadvertently shape our purring companions in our own image and likeness. Consider another point. A person usually chooses an animal that resonates with their temperament. Additionally, the way you treat a cat also determines its behavior. If the owner is often irritated, shouts, and punishes the cat will respond similarly. In fact, we inadvertently reflect ourselves in our whiskered neighbors. The study showed that if the owner scored high in the neurotic category, fears, aggression, anxiety, the cat lived in a state of tension. Conversely, the owner's calmness made the fluffy friend more affectionate and kind-hearted. Just as children adopt their parents' manners, cats, in the conditions of domestication, absorb our qualities. After all, we are like a kind of big family to them, a kind of mommy and daddy, and sometimes even brothers and sisters. Some fluffy eccentrics manage to resemble their owners or copy their gestures externally. Watch video recordings as evidence. There are times when a cat seems to have decided to learn to play the piano. It is unlikely to be a conscious choice, more likely a repetition of what it has seen. It is just a pity that not all our habits borrowed by cats are so noble. Sometimes it resembles amusing trolling. However, in any case, observing such scenes evokes positive emotions, and they are a guarantee of a good mood. Many have noticed that from time to time a cat massages the owner's body with its paws. This gesture, called the milk step, dates back to the kitten's behavior, stimulating the flow of milk by kneading the mother's belly. As it grows up, the cat retains this ritual, calming itself. If it performs this action towards you, it means you are part of its family. However, it should not be perceived only through rose-colored glasses. Researchers from the University of Lincoln found that dogs are attached to humans similarly to how children are attached to parents, while cats are much freer. They are often considered only conditionally domestic species. Leave an ordinary cat alone, and it will most likely survive using its hunting experience, while a tiny pug in the wild would survive only a few days. This means that a cat does not see a human as an absolute guarantee of safety. Some breeds, such as Maine Coons or Siberian cats, are characterized by independence and calmness. Well, the owner is there, and that's fine. The main thing is to be fed. Others become so attached to humans that their absence becomes a serious stress. But do not jump to conclusions, considering an independent cat as indifferent. American zoo psychologists have established that given the choice between food and human affection, most cats prefer to interact with their bipedal friend. Moreover, scientists claim that cats began to meow in order to communicate with humans, while their wild counterparts only hiss when meeting a person. It turns out that meowing is a kind of language for dialogue with the owner. Of course, whatever scientists say, it seems that cats have learned to meow to beg for treats. It's as if they're shouting, "Owner, I see the bottom of the bowl. Quickly add more food. Don't delay." They perfectly understand cause and effect. There is a classic intelligence test. The extrapolation test. The animal is shown an empty and a full feeder. Then, they are hidden behind a screen, and the animal must determine where the food is by moving in the right direction. Primitive mammals and birds fail such a test, while cats handle it easily, confirming their cleverness. Moreover, in mental trials they often outperform dogs. They find exits from complex mazes faster, remember safe places, and when encountering objects again, spend less time checking them. For a dog, each situation is as if it were new. Can we really end the eternal debate by asserting that cats are smarter than dogs? Look at a cat playing briskly with a dog like a person. It's impressive. But don't be quick to get upset, dog lovers. You have your own trump card: training. Dogs are excellently trainable to commands, while legends about the uselessness of cat training persist. However, Yuri Kuklakyov's Cat Theater disproves these prejudices. There, whiskered artists become real acrobats and tightrope walkers. The master himself says, "Saying that I train cats is incorrect. I observe cats, try to understand what they like to do, and reinforce it using certain techniques in zoo psychology. Cats are capable of learning if not forced, but by considering their natural essence. Mastering a reaction to their name or approaching when called are skills they acquire on their own, provided you reinforce success with affection or tasty treats. Some owners achieve more complex results. Teaching a cat to meow on command, jump through a hoop, or even walk on a leash. Specialists recommend starting to accustom a kitten to a collar at about 2.5 months old. First, put the collar on at home, then gradually introduce the harness and leash. Outdoor walks are best avoided until the cat is about 6 months old, waiting until its psyche has strengthened. After that, you can safely expand the boundaries of the cat's world. If you pay attention and observe your cat for a long time, you will learn to read its mood. Dilated pupils, a particular tilt of the ears, the position of the tail. Every signal is significant. This is much more complex than counting human emotions, but with genuine interest and attentiveness, you will master this art. The cat's soul is multifaceted, and by observing its nuances, you will understand that within the fluffy little creature lies an entire universe of feelings, thoughts, and impressions.